a laundromat owner breaks even in about 5 years. Everyone assumes that's the business model. They're wrong. The real question isn't whether laundromats are profitable. It's why they persist at all when every cost, water, electricity, rent, maintenance, keeps climbing. The answer reveals something about how certain businesses survive not because they are booming, but because their economics form a closed loop that's nearly impossible to disrupt. Let's start with the utility costs, the biggest variable expense. A single industrial washer uses roughly 40 gallons per cycle. A dryer running for 45 minutes consumes about 5 kilowatt hours. Multiply that across 8 to 12 machines, running 12 to 16 hours daily, and a typical laundromat spends between $1, $200 and $2, $500 monthly on water and electricity alone. But here's the structural insight: those costs are proportional to usage. When demand drops, consumption drops. When demand surges, revenue surges faster than costs rise. That feedback loop, usage drives both revenue and expense in the same direction, is what keeps laundromats stable, even in recession. Now, machine lifespan. A quality commercial washer costs $4,000 to $6,000 new. A dryer runs $3,000 to $5,000. Most operators expect 7 to 12 years of service before replacement becomes necessary. That's not wear out, that's when repair costs exceed replacement value. Here's where the economics get counterintuitive. Laundromat owners don't replace machines on a schedule. They replace them when repairs become chronic, when a single bearing or valve costs $300 and the machines already had 4 repairs that year. At that threshold, a new machine starts to make financial sense. This creates a predictable capital expenditure cycle. Most laundromats refresh 2 to 4 machines annually, spreading $8,000 to $24,000 in replacement costs across the year. That's roughly $650 to $2,000 monthly, a predictable line item, not a surprise. But machines are only half the story. Customer base determines whether those machines ever run. Laundromats survive in dense urban areas, college towns, and lower-income neighborhoods where apartment living dominates. These populations can't afford in-unit washers. They're captive demand. That captive demand is the invisible moat. A laundromat in a transit-accessible neighborhood with 5,000 nearby residents who lack home laundry will see steady volume regardless of economic conditions. People still wash clothes in recessions. They wash clothes during pandemics. The customer base doesn't vanish, it just fluctuates. Location determines viability far more than operational skill. A laundromat in a dying industrial town with shrinking population will fail within 3 years, even if perfectly managed. A laundromat in an expanding neighborhood with rising rents and transient populations can be barely competent and still survive. This is why laundromat ownership attracts immigrant entrepreneurs and family operators. The business model doesn't require innovation, scale, or venture capital. It requires location selection, basic maintenance discipline, and enough capital to survive the first 18 months before machines pay for themselves. So back to that 5-year break-even figure. It's not a guarantee, it's a statistical median for well-located operations with competent operators. But the underlying system explains why laundromats have existed for 70 years unchanged, and why they'll exist for 70 more. The economics aren't spectacular, they are just resilient. The laundromat persists because it solves a real problem for a captive population at costs they can afford. Utilities scale with demand. Machines have predictable lifespans. Customer base doesn't require marketing. It's not a growth business, it's a stability business. And in a volatile economy, that stability is the entire point. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe so you don't miss the next economic system that's quietly holding civilization together. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.